giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by Texas Family Fitness, Freeman Mazda Hyundai, and Worth the Poor. I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Woo! It's done. Finally, it's over. We can talk about the Cowboys players. We can be in moan. We can be happy. We can rejoice, or we can, wait and see. It doesn't matter. We can talk about our players. I don't got to worry about 200 other players, okay? The draft has came, it saw, and it conquered Cowboys Nation. Seriously, it did. Now it's time for a little R, and R is what I'm calling it. Basically, review, react, and rate the draft over the next week or so. And today is going to be a lot of reviewing and reacting. I'll do the rating as the week goes on, but I want you guys to call into the show if you can. 351-999-3787. 351-999-3787. Get in where you can fit in. This is the first show after the draft, so I'm pretty sure we'll get a lot of callers in. And I want to hear from y'all. I do, because this was an interesting draft. This was an interesting draft. I'm dubbing it the PFA draft, y'all. And I don't mean that by, protection from abuse type draft. I mean that by, plan, future, and athletes and attitude. That's why I'm dubbing it the PFA. I think they had a concise plan, whether we liked it or not. They had a concise plan of who they wanted and where they wanted to get those players when they came into this draft, right? And I think they also have a plan on how to utilize those players, but it may not be this year. And that's where the F comes in, and that's the future. I think they definitely had a keen outlook on the future with these players as well. Majority of these picks, in my opinion, won't be starters right away, right? You may get a few starters out of this draft right now, but I think they're looking at this thing as, can we get a few starters, a handful of starters later, maybe 2023 or beyond. I think they're definitely looking towards the future. And then the double A's, right? Athletes and attitude. I think Mo talked about this yesterday. We've seen it on Twitter a lot. But if you that today on the show. Wait a minute. Check. Can you hear me now? Oh, so you couldn't hear me on. All right, my bad. I'm not really sure what happened. I think it was muted on this page, but they talked about athletes. Basically, what I was saying was it's clear from the RAS score that they wanted to emphasize athletes, and the only ones that weren't athletic And I use that sparingly because if I was 6'6", 320 pounds, I think I would consider myself athletic. But is John Ridgway and Jake Ferguson. So we'll talk more about this athletic RAS score and how they wanted to target a lot of those guys, even all the way down to the 6th round pick with Devin Harper. So just stay tuned for that. We'll talk about all that and come on in on the hotline. But as we get ready to roll up, appreciate y'all for letting me know. I'm not really sure why it did that. Let me get to, I think there was a super chat. Then we'll get into the roundup. 1 second. Appreciate you, B Bird.
Super chat.
He says, Sky, the draft overshadowed the fact that the Cowboys got screwed on the Cooper trade. Lesser wide receivers getting first-round picks and giving the bad. Well, we talked about that on Friday where we saw Hollywood Brown go for a first-round pick, and then obviously A.J. Brown got traded for the first-round pick as well. So, I mean, we knew that. You know, a lot of people would try to fight that, but we knew that the Cowboys got screwed the pooch on that trade. But they just wanted to get rid of him for whatever reason. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this roundup.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
This is the morning roundup presented by Texas Family Fitness. Strive for progress, not perfection. Fitness goals are not accomplished with one workout. Progress towards your goals with Texas Family Fitness. More than just a fitness club, they provide the tools, support, and resources you need to achieve your goals. So hit up Texas Family Fitness at any of the 13 different locations in the DFW area or visit TexasFamilyFitness.com. So day 3 came and went, and there were some interesting nuggets. I'm sure y'all can hear me on this one. There was some interesting nuggets that Steven and Jerry and those guys were talking about, and one of them happened to be about a player that I would hope if they didn't target the center position that they give a shot. And they brought up Matt Forniak, you know, insinuating that he will push for the center job and that, you know, they'll open it up to a competition. Not necessarily those words, but that's kind of what I took away from it. And I love to hear that, because if you go back and look at his little bit of tape he had against Philly at the center position, I kind of liked it. Now, they also brought in an undrafted guy, which we'll get to on this next slide here. An undrafted guy that I think impressed as well. So Biadasz is going to get pushed, and I think he needs to get pushed. You know? Now, I was on record stating I would not want to take a center after the first round if it wasn't Linderbaum, and I'm still fine with that because I believe they could have a guy like a Forniak or go into the undrafted ranks like they got Lindstrom, which I think might be a steal. I'm wondering why he fell down to undrafts. Maybe because he was small. I don't know. They also talked about not bringing in a veteran swing tackle, and they'll let Ball and probably Let's Go, which again we'll get to in a second, battle it out, basically relying on the young guys. Different. That's something different. They usually don't go that route. Over the years, we've detailed it. Cam Irving, Cam Fleming, Ty Nsekhe, like these are the type of guys they bring in. Byron Bell, they bring in veteran swing tackles, and they're veering away from that. So I'm interested to see how that works out. There's obviously upside in Let's Go. I don't know about Ball. We haven't seen anything. Last time we seen him was college tape at Marshall. So, you know, we'll let those two guys battle it out, and we'll see what's up. I can't wait to see them in camp, however, up close and personal. Those are big dudes, especially with Let's Go. So the undrafted free agents, I talked about Alec Lindstrom. Not really sure why he fell, but he fell. There's a couple of them I like. Now, there's so many that I haven't dived into all of them, but I do know Marquise Bell was a guy that I thought the Cowboys could have drafted, but that's cool. They got him in as an undrafted free agent, and look out for him. Athletic missile type of safety. The kicker, Jonathan Garibay. This dude hit a 62-yard field goal, game-winning field goal in college. I mean, I don't watch a bunch of kickers, but I don't recall the last time a kicker made a 62-yard field goal in college. And dude, he made almost all his kicks. You know? I'm good with this. I'm not one of those that care about drafting. Whenever you draft one, cool, do it on late day 3. But you can get kickers off the street, man, that can come in here and be better than what you had over the last couple of years and Greg DeLeg. So I'm good with seeing what this cat got and the dude from SMU that the Cowboys signed in the offseason. A couple other notable guys. Like I said, Alec Lindstrom and Ontario Drummond, Ole Miss wide receiver. Nothing crazy about him, but there's a Big Cat Bryant. There's a whole bunch of these undrafted free agent guys that I want to look at even harder and give my opinion on, but it looks like a good crop. And then finally, I think with this draft, you saw the Cowboys have a clear and concise message that they were sending. And we heard Jerry Jones talk about just that a little bit on day 3 in the presser, where he said Mike was sitting there all day long telling me playoffs, remember the playoffs. Basically stating we got our ass kicked. We got bullied. We got pushed around. We can't have that again. That's the morning roundup presented by Texas Family Fitness. And that's where the attitude aspect of this draft comes in. It may not come to fruition right now, but if you go look and listen to a lot of the players that they drafted, there is a completely different aura around those guys. And on Friday, Friday, me and Mo did the draft show, and I just had this epiphany about this being the Attitude Era. For those who don't know what the Attitude Era is, y'all see my belt back here. Y'all, for those that are always here, y'all know I love football. I love the WWE. I love the old school wrestling, etc. The Attitude Era was the era after the new generation. It ushered in a more physical, in-your-face type of pro wrestling, because they were competing with the WCW, who was more realistic, more in your face, more edgy, and WWF needed to compete with that. So they had a guy, Stone Cold, who kind of ushered that era in. And I am now going to compare Micah to Stone Cold. Like, Micah is the guy last year that started that, but Stone Cold couldn't do it by himself. He needed others. He needed a Degeneration X, right? And I think this crop of guys could be the Degeneration X of the draft, of the Cowboys draft at the very least. You got Tyler Smith. Listen to this quote from Tyler Smith. My job as an offensive lineman is to set the tone and protect the quarterback. That dude across from me, his job is to hit my quarterback and try to blow up what we're doing. So every time I live up from somebody or I line up from somebody, I play with the mindset that they're going to try to take food out my mouth. They're trying to take food out my teammates' mouths. I want to make them think twice about getting up when they go against me. You love to hear that. You love to hear that. Even Jalen Tolbert, believe it or not, has some of that attitude to him. Jalen Tolbert, if you read around and you listen around, he's an alpha dog. He's a leader. He embraces being the underdog. Has a bit of that, I'm that dude type of mentality that just might rub a couple people the wrong way. And so what? He might push a couple people and piss a couple people off in that locker room. And honestly, I'm cool with that. Then you have D. Williams. Now, Sam Williams is what we knew him by, but apparently he wants to be called D. Williams. So I'll try to, remember that. D. Williams is his name, a.k.a. Sam Williams. This is what he had to say about who he is. I'm relentless. I'm a beast. I'm a dog. I love the game. I study the game. They're going to get a player that wants to play, wants to win, wants to do his job, wants to go over and beyond. Now, off-field stuff, we could talk about that. Maybe we'll dive into that. We'll see. But I love to hear that type of mentality. The kid seems to have grown up. Now, the X's and O's and the traits and things like that, we know a lot of these players got some growing to do as a football player. But from a mental standpoint, it sounds like a lot of these guys want to be the best. They want to get after it. They want to go above and beyond. Even Damone Clark, an NFL scout, told Dane Brugler, the LSU staff says he's the most driven guy on the roster. He lived in the facility. Now, he's a guy that's not going to play in 2022. I know Steven said he has a shot, but they'd be fools to do that. In round 5, I think this is where you take those type of risks, guy. You don't do it in round 2, Jalen Smith. You do it in round 5. Okay, so I have no problem with this pick because he's a day 2 player with a massive upside and ridiculous value in round 5. But to hear that he's a guy that's the most driven guy on the roster and he lived in the facility, you love to hear that. Oh, and then you got my favorite. Big Country John Ridgeway. Listening to his interview live, man, really fired me up for this crop of players. Just the players. I understand we could look around who else was on the board and things like that, but these are our guys now, so we're talking about our guys. If you thought I played with an edge then, wait till I get in the league. I'm definitely going to try and break someone's neck every play, but if I can't, I'll hit someone really hard. Attitude and athleticism. It's clear as day. That's what the Cowboys are going for. They want to be more physical. They want to be more tough. They saw how they got their ass whooped last year. They saw Debo come out with that boom box, and everybody else was a little bit nervous. You can't have that. And the only way to change that culture is to bring in those type of guys. And it doesn't have to be so some people will say, well, what about the Kelvin Josephs, right? He's a dog, right? There's difference between that kind of character and a guy that wants to, what did D. Williams say? They're going to get a player that wants to play, wants to win, wants to do his job, wants to go over and beyond. You never heard anything about that with Kelvin Joseph. Not saying that, maybe he is that type of player, but you never heard that type of stuff from him. Right? And I don't mean to single him out, but I'm just getting at the point that they brought in a crop of dudes that they wanted to change the culture of this team a little bit more. Not just last year, because I think last year Micah helped start that change. That's why Micah's Stone Cold Steve Austin. And this group has the potential to be the Degeneration X and shift this team into a different era. That does not guarantee wins. That does not guarantee Super Bowls, right? But there needs to be a start somewhere. And y'all know how I feel. If I can't rely on my coaching, or if I can't trust them completely, if I can't trust my front office completely, then the players are going to have to be the ones that elevate this franchise. Rookies probably aren't going to do it. You're not going to get Micah Parsons every year. But if that can kind of manifest itself 2-3 years down the road, maybe you got something. So attitude and athletes is the name of this game in regards to this draft class and getting way more physical. Now, we can go down the line and talk about, each individual one or how you liked it. Grade the draft if you want to grade. I don't really do grades, but I don't mind reading some of your grades. I'll rate the draft as we move forward. But if you wanted my overall thoughts on it, I think this was a solid draft. I don't think you have to look at it a certain way. If you're looking at it for year one production, I think you're going to be disappointed. I don't think you're going to get immense production year one. Now, last year you got some production out of those guys that weren't supposed to because of injuries. So that could change. But I don't think you want to see your 5th round picks, besides maybe Ridgeway, get a whole bunch of tick right now, right? I don't think you want to see that because that means somebody's injured or somebody's not doing their job. I think where you could get the best bang for your buck from this draft is going to be 2023 and beyond, to be completely honest. Even from your 2nd round pick, Sam Williams, right? I think Sam Williams coming here is going to be a DPR, designated pass rusher, but obviously he'll have a bigger role the next year because it'll be less players on the roster. So kind of where I'm at with it. All right, we got some callers on the horn. Let's hear what you guys got to say. Let's get my guy Los in the building first. What's up, Los?
Good morning, Sky. Are you happy draft season is over? No more falling in love with picks or mock drafts and
I'm
everything.
so happy, bro.
I bet you are, man. I bet you are. But I will say this. If there's anything, I'm not saying looking at players is not bad. Hey, it raises our football IQ, knowing players' weakness and strengths. And also, we might go against some of these dudes, and I'll touch up on that later.
Sure.
So if anyone's watching out there that's, wants to get better in any sport, I highly recommend taping yourselves. Your knowledge of the game you want to play will improve tremendously. So back to the Cowboys. This draft, I give them a solid B. And I do have some of my doubts on two players, and I'll tell you why, Sky, on who they are.
Okay.
But I think you can guess who.
Who?
My first one is going to be Tyler Smith.
Okay.
One, there were better players on the board, and we could have got that position more deeper in the draft the way it was falling. It doesn't help that – go ahead.
You could argue there's better players on the board in all these rounds.
Yeah. And it also doesn't help that he's known for holding on the college level. And keep in mind, this coaching staff was one of the most undisciplined teams in football last year, even in key moments. So for those saying coaching will help, I definitely need to see it, not just with him, but this team as a whole. And then D. Williams, huge upside, but a rather off-the-field question type of guy. And I don't know if you looked into it already or have, but those cases, I really don't like those type of cases. So he definitely needs the right attitude and culture to make sure his head.
So your only issue with him is the case from a couple years ago?
Yeah, that's the only thing. Like,
what about on the field though?
On the field, he'll be a beast. That's my.
Because the case is over. Like that's not going to pop back up unless he has a new thing. So that's done.
Exactly. It's just off the field, Like, let's just, he doesn't make a boneheaded, something like, I don't know. I don't want, put it mojo out there or anything. But let's just hope, like, no one gets on his bad side if they run across him, basically. That's all I'm trying to say, Yeah, so basically with Michael Parsons being on the field on his second year and he ain't being a rookie, his voice and him being heard more, I think will be part of our defensive culture moving forward. Because if there's one thing I do believe in, Sky, is if you can get a leader of men to follow you and go to war with you each and every down, that's huge. And it's not given, it's earned. And one of the names that really comes to mind, and I'm not comparing them to, one's a Hall of Famer, one's not, but Ray Lewis comes to mind when I'm comparing Micah. The way he comes into that locker room and works every day to make everyone better, I mean, you can't ask for anything more. And we need it, man, because, hey, Eagles getting Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean.
Oh, the rest of the NFC East definitely improved. How much we'll see. I know the Eagles improved a lot, in my opinion. But, yeah, you can't just sit on your hands. Other teams are going to get better.
Exactly. And I'll say this, those are players we both wanted. Let's not lie about that, Sky. I mean, Eagles, like, filled that hole quickly with what was his name they released? The defensive tackle? I forget who they released, but they filled that position.
No, they re-signed they re-signed Cox, so he's back. They just released him for cap relief and brought him back. So they got Cox and they got Hargrave, Milton Williams, and Jordan Davis. So they got a pretty stout defensive tackle rotation.
Oh yeah, so that's huge for them. So everyone else we picked up on the draft, I really like, especially Tolbert. I was on him early. I think you could tell conversations back we had at that North Dakota State kid. I don't want to mispronounce his name. But yeah,
who?
And to close out, go ahead, Sky.
You said the Cowboys took a North Dakota State kid?
Or what's that tackle?
North Dakota. It was Matt. Well, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, not North Dakota State. North Dakota.
My bad. North Dakota. My bad. But yeah, and to close out, man, I gotta talk about those Mavericks real quick, guys, if that's okay.
Sure.
We have to split these two games away. I think we'll make a series out of it. Don't be surprised if you see a frustrated Chris Paul or Devin Booker out there. If there's one thing the Mavericks have done all season, it's being disciplined on their rotations. and they hold the best offense at times at bay. So they're probably going to let Aiden go crazy. I won't be surprised, but you can't let Booker hit open threes, and you definitely can't let Chris Paul be Chris Paul running plays. And for Luka, let him be Luka. He competes with the best out there. If there's a team to build off, it's him. And, I mean, hey, when he's on the court, he gives you 2K attributes. He gives you like a 10-plus three-pointer and a 5-plus rebounder, stat when he's out there. So I have Mavericks winning and going for upset 107-102 and making a late fourth comeback. So that's hopefully we can get it done. I mean, that's my take. And Sky, you got to get to the Mavericks, bro. You got to get with them, man.
Sure, but I ain't really worried about them right now, man. So we just had a draft, brother. But appreciate you and your Mavericks talk, man. I'll get with you tomorrow, Los. Hey, yo, that's cool and all. But we just had an amazing, not amazing draft, but amazing draft weekend. And I'm excited about this draft, man. The Mavericks, start that one. Let's get to Twan on the horn. What's up, Twan?
What's going on, Sky?
What's up with you, brother? How you feeling after this weekend?
Man, I'm feeling amazing, man.
I'm
feeling amazing. I was talking about Tyler Smith to watch like a couple months ago. I was fine picking him, watching him play. So I'm going to stick to on the field play. What Tyler Smith is coming in with, he coming with stuff you can't teach. He coming with the play strength. He coming with power. I know people have issues with his penalties and his feet work kind of sloppy, but you can teach that.
Oh, he's sloppy.
Luckily,
he's sloppy for sure. But if you move him in the guard, like I said, I think a lot of his deficiencies can be mitigated a little bit.
That's how I was going. It's going to be hidden because you got Tyron still on the left side, and he can handle power.
Yes. Absolutely. He already comes in, I think, ahead of the curve power-wise than Connor Williams. It took years for Connor Williams to be adequate in regards to power, and he still never really got it.
Yeah, yes. And the linebackers from LSU, I don't know too much about him.
Damone Clark?
Yeah.
Tackling machine, man. If he hadn't got the back fusion, which, again, I'm going to have our doc in this week or next week, to talk about it, but if he hadn't messed up the back or had the surgery, he would have been a day 2, round 2 or round 3 pick for sure. But he's a tackling machine, rangy guy. You could plug him in that middle. You absolutely can, and free up Micah a little bit in the future. But you won't see him this year. I don't think you should see him this year. But I think they got to steal if he comes back healthy. But that's to be determined.
Okay, and the other player we drafted, we didn't draft him, but he's unrestricted. The guy we picked up, Marquise Bell.
Yes.
Man.
Yeah.
Hey, oh, my God.
Hey, Izzy, you better watch out. I'm telling you.
Really?
Izzy better watch. Israel McQuamu better watch out. Who else? Donovan Wilson, I would not get rid of Donovan Wilson. I'd keep him on the roster. But I think Marquise Bell is going to definitely come in here and push. At the very least, he's going to hit somebody really damn hard, make people go ooh and ah.
Oh, yeah, because there's a free spot because we just lost KZ to Pittsburgh. So, hey, we got a free spot.
True. Free spot. I don't necessarily want to put him on the roof where KZ was, though. But I'm more so looking at another guy, like kind of a box guy, to be honest with you, special teams dude. But, again, if he plays well, Twan, you keep him on the roster, and you don't have to re-sign Donovan Wilson.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You look at the other guy we picked up, Story Jackson, the linebacker. It's funny
because he was literally in my notes. I very briefly took a glimpse at him. I just saw a bunch of him flying around. But I can't give you a full breakdown on him. But he was very interesting. So I got to get to all the undrafted guys. I went through all of our drafted guys, but it's the undrafted guys I got to get through. But Story is definitely at the top of my list.
Yeah, those are the only two I watched. I watched Bell and Story. And, oh, my man, listen, this draft for me is physical and opposing. That's what I'll draft for this year.
Yeah.
Physical and opposing.
Attitude, brother. Like it's an attitude draft for me. Now, will that translate? Who the hell knows? But, if I had to really put a word to it, it'd be that.
Oh, for sure, man. But have a good day, man.
Thanks, bro. You too. Yeah, Story Jackson was is it Jackson? I got the last name wrong. But he's a guy that I saw pop up on Twitter. We signed. I said, all right, got to add him to the list. Took a quick glimpse at him. I'm like, oh, okay, flying around. But again, it's hard to really get a feel of those type of players that fast and just with highlights. Like, you kind of got to dig a little bit more deeper, right? Marquise Bell, Brian says, will replace Dono. I hope. Listen, if he replaces him, I hope it's because he won it out, right? I would love to keep Donovan Wilson. We have a rotation, a good 3-man rotation right now, but we know they like to use 4 guys. The only problem is if he does beat out Israel Mukuamu, who we don't even know yet, but could be your free safety, you really only got one free safety on the roster, and that's Hooker. You don't really have another free safety. So, but is Marquise Bell a guy you can sneak onto the practice squad? That's something we'll find out in preseason, because a lot of teams could be looking for that type of dude. But like I said at the beginning, PFA, right? Plan, future, athletes, and attitude. The future part of that could be Marquise Bell. If they bring him on this roster, and we heard Stephen Jones talk about this, by the way, maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow, but he mentioned the running back position. Go back and look at that. We talked about this before. If you get a guy on the roster that plays a position that another guy has 1 year left on, you can start really piecing this thing together. Marquise Bell could be a guy that stays around. Stage wants to know what I think about the Sam Williams pick. So Sam Williams has tremendous upside. Tremendous upside. I just don't know if he's going to be that dude right now. He's a DPR, designated pass rusher, year 1. He's got things to clean up, but again, I wish I meant to pull it today. He sat down with Vlogging the Boys, Connor, and I'll bring this up tomorrow maybe or another day. And Connor brought up an excellent question that a lot of us saw on tape about Sam Williams. He was playing in that 4-eye technique, which wasn't really common for a guy like him. I mean, it's kind of silly if you ask me, dealing with, guards and tackles dead smack in the middle of tackles all game long. He basically asked him, hey, how excited are you to actually get into a system where you can just rush the passer with your speed, get on the outside, attack the shoulders, things like that? And he said, you have no idea how happy I am. He said playing that 4-eye technique is not for the weak. It's not for the weak. So I think Dan Quinn has a plan, the PFA, for Sam Williams. He has the athleticism, right? He has that dog mentality, and I think you'll see him, and honestly, see him play that Randy Gregory role in the future. May not be right now because I don't think he'll be a starter unless he just goes berserk, but I think he'll be the Randy Gregory role. If you go back and watch Randy Gregory, you saw him standing up. You saw him with his hand down. You saw him moving around. He has the size and athletic ability to do all of that. In fact, I think he might even be a better chase down defender than Randy was in the pros. And that's because Randy was tiny when he came in. They didn't get, about 250 plus until last year or so. So there is tremendous upside. And I said that with Tyler. I say it with Sam. In fact, I'll go this far. I think Sam is more talented right now than Tyler. It's just that I don't know if there is a plan to make him a 35 snap a game type of dude. I can't see it right now. Not with all this depth at the edge that they have right now. Dante Fowler, D. Law, Armstrong, Golston, and obviously Micah's going to be rushing as well. Basham. There's a lot of depth, so it's going to be tough. He's going to have to beat somebody out. And I had asked Connor this question. Well, who was he going over? And me and Vosh were talking about this. And I came to the conclusion after I thought about it, it's likely going to be Terrell Basham if they give him some tick, or Chauncey Golston. But I view Golston as that run guy, though. So I think he's kind of earned his keep as a rotational piece. So I think you could see Terrell Basham be a guy that gets cut heading into the season, because y'all can let me know. I don't really see them keeping 7 edge guys. Let me rattle them off for you. D-Law, Basham, Armstrong, Fowler, Golston, Sam Williams, and I'm missing one because I counted 7. But that's just a lot of guys. So somebody's going to get the axe. Competition's going to be heating up. All right. Let's get to. Oh man, I'm about to have to lock these up in a quick second. So get in here. I'm gonna give y'all to about 9:05 to get in here. Then I'm locking them up because today is about y'all. We are reviewing and reacting. Let's get to Macho Man Danny Savage in the building. What's good, man?
Good morning, Sky. You already know who my favorite pick was in the draft.
Oh, Big Country, baby.
Big Country, state champion wrestler, 6'5", 330, with a nasty attitude. Told Jerry Jones he's going to want to break necks already. I said it for the last month. Ridgeway in the 5th is better value than Davis in the top 20.
I agree with that one.
Okay. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit bad about the draft, and follow me for a second. This is the Jerry Jones Jedi mind trick. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. If Sam Taylor turns out to be a top 20 guard, will you be happy with that? Tyler Smith. I apologize. Tyler Smith.
I was about to say, hold on. Who we got now? If Tyler Smith turns out to be a top 20 guard in the league?
Yes. Would you be happy?
Yeah, there's 64 guards. So, yeah, I think that's adequate.
Okay. If Sam Williams turns out to be a 6'6" to 8 sack guy, would you be happy with that?
I would need to know more. I'm beyond the total sack numbers, right? I need to know more context behind the Sam Williams numbers. Are they 7 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, and 60 tackles with 15 tackles for like? You know what I'm saying? I would need to know a lot more about that.
No. Now my final question is: if Tolbert turns out to be a 1,000-yard receiver, 6 to 8 touchdowns, will you take that? Will you be happy with that?
All day and tomorrow, yeah.
Okay, now that's exactly the production that we lost by giving away Amari Cooper for a 5th, by messing up the Randy Gregory signing, and by doing nothing in free agency to fix the left guard spot. There's no way you can tell me Thursday night that guard was higher rated than Devin Lloyd, the number 1 rated linebacker, or Devontae Wyatt. No way. And nobody preached offensive line more than me. O-line. But you don't take the 8th or 9th rated offensive lineman over the 1st rated linebacker. Picture Lloyd and Micah in the middle for the next 5-6 years. And then I take Evan Ingram in the 2nd round. Will I take Luke Fortner? I mean, do you agree with me? If Randy Gregory's on the team, do we take Sam Williams in round 2?
Oh, absolutely not.
If Amari Cooper's on the team, are we taking Tolbert at 3?
No. Well, maybe. It all depends. That's BPA right there. Yeah, maybe.
So, Smith is the future. I mean, he has to get stronger. He's very sloppy. But what I'm trying to say is, you don't help your team. When you draft for need, you can get hurt really bad. When Charles Haley hurt his back in 1994, I can name you about 6 edges we took in the 1st round. Busts. Nobody knows who they are. So, listen, I like your point. This was about getting bigger and physical, and more physical, more physicality, because the San Fran bullied us.
Sure.
But it's just the first 3 picks, they were made 3 months ago.
Shoot, if not more. So there's 2 conversations we can have, right? There's just the draft, right, that we can have. And then there's everything that surrounded the draft that puts you in that position. And Danny, on the channel, we've been talking about this for weeks. The Cowboys backed themselves into this corner. They deliberately
100%
made themselves have to attack needs the first 4 or 5 picks. And because we said this, right? I said they've got about 5 positions that they need to fill. Only 3 picks are really, in my opinion, can you really do that immediately? In my opinion, the rest of them are kind of, hey, special teams, just kind of bring you along type thing. They decided to do that. They decided to get rid of offensive line depth. They decided to get rid of one of their better wide receivers they had in the last 5 years. They deliberately did that and put themselves in this position. Now, had they went out and addressed those spots prior, yeah, we would have done things differently. So those are absolutely two different conversations we can have, and they're fair. They're absolutely fair conversations. If you really want to be real, I hate to use the term reach. It's relative how you feel about each position, Danny, but they definitely had a plan on getting certain guys, and they got them. They didn't care where the hell it was. So if Tyler Smith was a 3 to you, they didn't care. That was the guy they wanted and won.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that plays out.
They were saying supposedly throughout the whole draft, McCarthy, when he sat next to Jerry Jones, he kept on telling Jerry,
playoffs.
Remember the San Fran game when they had to pick between one or two guys because they wanted that big physical bully type of guy. And I'm telling you, as our free agents, the kid Bell, he's making the team. He's making the team 100% as a safety. I can see the center from Boston College, Lindstrom. I can see him taking Tyler's job.
Man.
And the kid who's definitely making the practice squad is the kid from Indiana, Ty Freifogel. I might have pronounced his name wrong.
I got to go.
Catch up.
Yeah, I didn't get to him yet. I'm still catching up on those guys.
He catches everything. But besides my rant on the first few picks, love Ridgeway, love the tackle from North Dakota. And listen, we could have did a lot better. My fear.
The conference has been locked.
In round 1, which I think he wound up going in round 3, I think, Indianapolis. But so listen, we could have did a lot worse. But
I mean, that's fair too.
It'll be a good.
I haven't heard that take.
Draft.
Yeah.
It'll be a good draft, but in my opinion, it takes 3 years to grade a draft.
Oh yeah. I don't do grades, but I get them. They're fun. Yeah. All right, Danny. Appreciate you, man. Let me get to the rest of the squad.
You got it, Scott.
Yeah, that's something that we'll probably talk about with more of the callers here. I'll probably be talking about in the chat, and I obviously will talk about as the dust settles from the draft. Is that all right? Got your guys now. We can be excited about having new players, figuring out where they'll fit, values, year one impact, things like that. Long-term outlook. Those are all things we'll be talking about for rating the draft. Now, how does it make your team better? I have not moved off of that one. I haven't moved off of that. I came into this draft saying the odds of just this draft class making your team better, on paper at the very least, right? Because they could be better. We don't know. I thought were very slim to none. They would have had to had a perfect draft. And I don't think anyone would say they had a perfect draft. But they got guys, I think, for the future that they hope will be impactful in the future. Maybe you got about 2 in a possible for this year, right? Tyler Smith. The possible being Sam. I think Tobert's going to get a shot because you got Gallup who's hurt. But then when Gallup comes back, we'll see how they feel about Tobert and how they feel about Washington. At that point, unless Washington is absolutely balling, I think it'd be wise to just keep Tobert in there and get those reps with Dak Prescott because Washington is not going to be here long term. So, it's a lot to think about with it. All right, we got a ton on the horn. We'll go to the Glens. We got Glenn first, and then we'll get Glenn from Florida next. What's up, Glenn?
Hey, what's good, Scott? Thanks for taking a lot of calls this morning. I know you're putting your hard hat on and doing your work for the people, so I appreciate it.
No problem.
So I'm not going to pretend that I know all about the draft. As I've said before, I'm not the biggest college football fan, so I don't know all the ins and outs. But I guess the question I have for you is, well, let me give you my take, what I would have done, okay. and then you give me your thoughts on the analysis. Right. So if the Cowboys knew that they weren't going to re-sign Amari Cooper, all right, fine. What would have been wrong with taking half of that money, signing one of the top guards out there? I think on average they're getting about maybe, I don't know, it's not a sexy position, I get it. But what would have been wrong with taking, let's say, half of that money or a little bit less than half of that money, getting a free agent guard, and instead of taking the Tyler that we took in the first round, we take Linderbaum at center. So you have your starting center, And then you have assuming Linderbaum is of the quality and caliber to start right away, which I think he's better than what we have. What would have been wrong with taking him and then signing a free agent guard? And then you're kind of good to go. I just feel like we kind of screwed up that first pick based on what your last caller said. I agree with him in drafting for need. I think we screwed up that first pick. We could have had the better Tyler. What are your thoughts on that?
Listen, let me kind of call out a little bit of BS that Jerry and them were spewing to us after, I think it was round 1. They talked about, and this is what made me feel like, okay, I see why they didn't take Tyler. They talked about, without saying Tyler Linderbaum, the center position not being small. They didn't want a small guy at the spot, right? And I'm like, all right, if that's how you look at it, cool. I'm pretty sure you're not the only one who looks at the center position and they want a guy that's bigger. Because they talked about how, especially on early downs, they line up a nose tackle over that center and they make it tough on you, so you want to have a bigger guy or a stronger guy, right? Then they went out and they signed Alec Lindstrom, who, again, I like Alec Lindstrom as a late round guy, especially undrafted. Y'all want to know how much he weigh? 296 pounds. So do you really have a philosophy of small centers or not? Because there's no way you can tell me that Tyler Linderbaum was below Tyler Smith for you. So, yeah, I'm with you. I thought Tyler Linderbaum would have been a better pick, but I do like the upside with Tyler Smith. But you're just talking about between the two.
Yeah. I agree. Again, the last caller kind of stole my thunder. I just think that you can argue that the Cowboys are nibbling around the edges in previous free agent years and taking players to plug holes. But I think the Cowboys do a better job when they take players that kind of fall to them, that are considered the best players, because inevitably you're going to get players that you didn't think would be available. And again, Micah Parsons being an example, I know that was kind of an anomaly, but he fell to the Cowboys, and they figured out that they absolutely had a gem. Same thing with CeeDee Lamb. He kind of fell to the Cowboys. Now, Jerry loves the sexy picks. I just think I would have taken Linderbaum. I would have, gotten a little bit more aggressive in free agency, and I would have come to this draft really picking, at least with the first couple picks, the best player available. And then if you want to kind of like try to fill some of these needs in the middle rounds, I think you can kind of do that because you get that kind of runway. But
they ain't have the luxury,
like you guys said. Yeah, well, I just hate being backed up into a corner, because then you know how it goes. When you need a car and you only have a certain amount of money, all of a sudden the car that's in not great shape becomes, you know what, put a little bit of shine on it. You start looking at it through rose-colored glasses. But we'll wait and see. I think it's hard to criticize some of the later picks. The one guy that I really love, that I just, again, going just based on highlights, that kid from LSU.
Damone Clark.
He looks like a stud. Oh, my God. I'm like, this dude looks like a player. I don't know much. Again, don't know much about a lot of these kids, but that guy pops off the screen to me.
He would have been taken in round 2 or 3 if he didn't have that fusion.
Yeah. And if he clears medicals, Dan Quinn is, I guess, he won't be ready this year, though, right? It'll be next year.
I wouldn't touch him. I would let him rest. I mean, this is a back fusion. Again, I'm not a doctor, but I mean, that was one of the reasons why he was kind of off my board. Now you get to day 3. I mean, you're just throwing darts anyway, so that's fine. But I would just let him rest all 22, come back 2023. Let's see what's up.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll let you go. Let you get to some other callers. Great job, and I'll keep listening offline.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Yeah, I thought day 3. I like day 3. I know it's 5th round picks, which we have not been good at, by the way. That's the thing about these 5th round picks. Even last year, if you looked at the history, you'd be like, damn, we ain't been doing good in the 5th round. Then they took Simi. Simi ain't get on the field, obviously. And now you're like, damn, they still ain't do good in the 5th round. But every time I kind of got excited about a 5th rounder. So I'm going to be excited about these players because they're new players. They're young, they're rookies, and there's things to like about them, things not to like. But when the dust settles, it's that infamous 5th round. And if you go look at the 5th round, Well, Let's Go has an opportunity because I don't know about Josh Ball. And in fact, I mean, kind of like his athleticism better than Josh Ball. But he has an opportunity to compete for that swing tackle duty. And he honestly, even if he doesn't win it, we've seen the Cowboys carry for it, 2 backup tackles. Last year, they did it. Technically, they carried Terrence Steele and Ty Nsekhe. So you could see Ball and Waletzko on the team. The one that might have a tough time sticking. Now, they don't like to cut their draft picks. And this is not a knock on the player. You just got to look at the situation. It's Deron Bland, the cornerback from Fresno. Physical cornerback. Again, athlete, right? 4'2" guy. Long guy that Dan Quinn and Will McClay likes. But if Kelvin Joseph is not suspended in 2022, and you know they love CJ Goodwin as a special teams guy, I always pencil him in. We forget he's in the cornerback room technically. It's gonna be tough. Do you carry Diggs, Brown, Kelvin Joseph, Jordan Lewis, Nashawn Wright, CJ Goodwin, and then Bland? That'll be 7 corners. So again, it'll be a numbers game once we get to camp and we'll figure things out. But a lot of young guys from last year, there was 11 picks, all made the team. There's 9 picks now. Are we going to have 18 picks make the team in a 2-year span? That'll be interesting to see. So my eyes on Deron Bland as the uphill battle for the 5th round picks. Now, they'll start Damone Clark on PUP, so he won't count. And then Ridgeway, I think, will battle Bohanna for the nose tackle position. It's a possibility. Again, do they keep 2 big guys like that on the roster? We've never seen them do that. So if Dan Quinn, and this is what I applauded Dan Quinn for, I said, at the very least, I'm glad Dan Quinn got those guys to invest in big boys in the draft. They haven't done that. Now, will Big Boy Bohanna stick around? Because coming in, I actually like Ridgeway better than I liked Bohanna coming in, similar to Osa last year. I liked Osa coming in better than I liked Neville Gallimore coming in. But Bohanna has a year of experience now. He's got an off season. We got to see how much better he got, because if he got, better, maybe you do keep 2 around. Who knows? A lot of questions, though. A lot of questions. All right, I said Glenn, then we'll get B on the horn. What's up, Glenn from Florida?
What up, Steele? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. Honestly, I feel pretty good about the draft in general, because I'm kind of looking at it in a different lens. I'm not really looking at it for 2022, to be honest with you, because if I do that, I might cringe a little bit.
And before I get into my take, I just wanted to say shout out to my Bulldogs for setting the record for most players picked in the draft. We thank you for that. But
a talented team.
Yeah, it took me a day to look at the picks and get how I felt about them, because I will say my initial reaction to the Tyler Smith, I wasn't happy, but to be honest, I didn't look much into Tyler Smith just because I thought there would be other names there that we would look at. So I was just like, I'm not even going to look at Tyler Smith. But then you start hearing his name on draft day, like, okay, Cowboys could be taking Tyler Smith, and my heart dropped a little bit, can't lie to you. But
when you saw did you see my reaction?
I did, and it had me weak. You didn't care what Foots was talking about.
Nah, I didn't want to hear
at all.
See, that's the thing with Foots.
What makes me?
I love Foots, but Foots is a consummate professional, so I'll give him that. But really, no matter who the hell they took there, Foots was going to be fine. My thing is, I'm such a diehard man, and I wear my emotions on my sleeves that sometimes I'm in this game now. I got to just let me collect my thoughts real quick. Let me get my emotions under control, and then I'll come back to it. I just needed to collect my thoughts to get my emotions under control, and then I'll let Foots talk.
I was so happy we got that in the moment, though. It was so funny. But no, I feel a lot better about Tyler Smith. His footwork kind of scares me. So like we were always talking about him as a project tackle. That's far off in the future.
Definitely
hopefully,
a project
Tyron
tackle.
Smith will stay healthy, for sure. But when it comes to a guard, I think he can be super nasty. his traits can shine there, and that's what we needed last year. Not to say Connor Williams was the worst guard. I think he was a pretty average guard, and most guards in the league are kind of trash. So what you got out of Connor was, I think, good enough. But at the same time, you saw him get beat. You saw him get beat quite bad. And to answer the other Glenn's point about why they didn't take Tyler Linderbaum, they've been talking about the other lineman they drafted, I believe, last year, Farniak, if I pronounced that right, quite a bit this offseason. So I think they believe he's taking the next step, just like Terrence Steele took that next step last offseason. So that's another reason why I think they didn't look at Tyler Linderbaum in the first round that way.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Philbin in the front office talked about Fournier.
Yeah, they've been and to your point, I do believe they might keep 2 nose tackles, just from how the presser from Jerry, he was really excited how they have both of them in the house. And you never know, like Vosh be talking about, that off-season peanut butter can do Bohanna quite a bit of service. So, but I definitely like Ridgeway a lot better, like as coming out of college.
Yeah, he was my favorite day 3 pick by far, and one of my top 2 or 3 favorite picks in the draft. Period.
If I had to say favorite pick, it would probably be Jalen Tolbert. Like if you told me we got Jalen Tolbert in the round 2 and we got Sam Williams in round 3, I'd feel even more better about the whole draft. And
I've seen a lot of people say that. If you go back and watch the draft show of about to say Foots, Mo and I on day 2 were actually talking about, hey, Tolbert still in the. We were talking second round, 56. We were looking at Tolbert if we were looking at wide receivers, and they went with Sam, which we knew they were going to go with Sam, but we were trying to think outside the box. And then Tolbert came around in round 3, and Mo was like, man, I'd go Tolbert right here, and boom, they took him.
Yeah, I think he's going to have just how we did with Terrence Williams coming out. I think he's going to have that. We're just going to Terrence Williams. I don't have my
button, but I like that.
Yeah, they threw Terrence Williams in there when they drafted him. Right. I think he's going to have that type of. Impact for us.
I love that comp, man. Not necessarily from players, but just their situations that they're put in coming in year 1. That is interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I think Gallup probably needs to watch out. I think Tolbert could possibly push for that outside spot. I definitely believe that.
You know what? I'm not going to. I kind of cringed at it a little bit, but I had a thought process coming in today's show about Tolbert that I kept going in my mind. I'm like, nah, get it out, Will. But Tolbert just kind of comes off to me as one of those 3rd round wide receivers that aren't, great at one thing, but it's just an all around really solid, really good wide receiver. And next thing you know, in his career, he's got 5, 6, 1,000-yard season, a 10 touchdown year, 8 touchdown year, just a steady guy, been in the league for 10 years. Next thing you know, you're like, man, that was a hell of a value pick. He just comes off that way. He may not wow you with a 1,500-yard season, but he'll be a steady guy, and I can kind of see it.
For sure. I think because you said you haven't looked at the undrafted.
Not all of them, no. Yeah.
Okay, the one that you should start off with. This is the one I'm most excited about, and I think as a rookie free agent class, it's a pretty good group. But Dontario Drummond, I think he's 6'1", 215. The reason why he didn't get drafted is because he ran a 4.65.
Yeah, he's not athletic.
No, but when it comes to
he's savvy.
Him getting, he finished 99th percentile in separation. That for a person who only ran a 4.65, I feel like that's crazy. His route running at the top of his route, he just somehow just gets open with not being athletic. I hope he pushes for Noah Brown's position, because I think he just can do more for you in the offense. He can catch the underneath routes. And once again, for a person who ran a 4.65, he was. You can see in a couple of games, he was beating people deep.
Well, that's what I saw from him. I took away from the bit I watched from him was he was very savvy underneath, finding the zones, finding the spots. Seemed to be shorthanded to me, but he's not an athlete. But again, wide receivers are weird because if you got blazing speed, that's cool. But if you look around the league, a lot of guys who aren't blazing fast are still very productive. But hey, Glenn,
sure.
Great call, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, have a good day still.
You too.
And thank you for all the analysis you did on draft day.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that. There's a couple super chats I want to get to.
Super chat.
Ray Cheney, appreciate you. He says, where you think we're going to be in the standings? Oh, boy. Ray, it's May 2nd. It's May 2nd. I will still, though, state this. I still believe this is it's the best team in the NFC East. But Philly is creeping up there. But we got Dak, they got Jalen. So I'm not ever going to put them over until they prove it to me. But I think this is the best team in the NFC East. That's about as far as I'll go right now. I just got to see more, man. I'm not going to sit here and fake the funk. Like, I'm still feeling the hit from the offseason, losing some really damn good players and replacing them with rookies. I don't think is going to be quite enough to just start talking Super Bowl just yet. Let me see these guys first. Let me see how they're utilized. Let's see what else they do in free agency. There's still guys out there. So I see them being the favorite in the NFC East. And I can't even say that with all this confidence because of the last 20 years. They ain't won the NFC East back-to-back years since the 90s. And that pisses me off because I truly do believe this is the best team in the NFC East. But they ain't won it back-to-back years. That's ridiculous. Sully.
Super chat.
He says, the best reaction was Sam Williams. I think you hit the Steph Curry on him. I don't remember exactly. Oh, you know what? I laughed at that one. So the Sam Williams one, that's right. The Sam Williams reaction was more so I was cracking up because me and Mo were sitting here for like an hour. Like, they're going to go Sam Williams, aren't they? Cowboys Nation woke up immediately on round 2. We're like, Sam Williams, right? Like Sam Williams. They love him. They're probably going to do it. We're trying to talk ourselves out of it because there were a lot of other players on there that I liked as well. Nick Benito was my favorite pass rusher, I think, remaining. But we were just like, they're going to take Sam Williams. And they took him, and it was just funny to me. But I actually like him. Like, I like what he could do in this defense as opposed to what he did at Ole Miss. And let's be real. I told y'all. Wide receiver, offensive guard, defensive end, linebacker. They waited a long time for that. But linebacker, tight end were 5 positions they had to take here. And I'm not going to sit here and contradict myself or fake the funk. I did say, I don't care where it happens, they need to take those positions because they backed themselves into a corner. And that's what they did. They took those positions. They took the DE in round 2. So They did what I asked them to do. They just didn't take a player that I wanted there. But I think from an athletic standpoint, dude's a freak. He's an absolute freak athletically. Let's see how Quinn coaches him up. Let's see where he puts him. And I said this before the draft. A lot of people have said this. Hey, man, whoever Dan Quinn takes, not going to see me complain yet. He's gained that trust to me. He's gained that trust, and we gotta wait and see how they use Sam. But he got traits, man. He got traits. All right, let's get to B. B, it's finally over. They didn't take the wide receiver in round 1. How you feeling?
Man, I called you Thursday or Friday, and I reacted about the first round pick, and I still feel the same way about it. That pick was made just like I told you then. That pick was made 6-7 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? And
the second round pick too, for that matter.
And you know what? The second round pick, it bothers me, but it doesn't bother me as much. And the reason why I say that is because when you're picking at the end of round 2 or at the end of a round, you're pretty much in a position where you're picking the next round's players. And so for that reason, it didn't bother me for where they took him. Had they been at the top of the round and that was their first pick, I would have been like, okay, y'all reach it. You know what I'm saying? But I believe Sam Williams had a late second to early to third round grade. Yeah. And I think that's what he was. And, I wasn't feeling the first round pick. It's just nothing that anybody can tell me.
You just got to see it.
You know what I'm saying? It was just like, Jerry Jones. And you know what? They need to take the mic from Jerry Jones.
Oh, boy.
Man, sometimes
the man put the paper up with the draft grades on it. And I was like, what is this dude doing? And then he comes out and says, yeah,
Jerry,
we know if we want to trade up in the rounds, we know we're going to have to overpay. Mike
McCarthy almost yanked his ass off the stage.
Yo, I was dying. Yo, I was like,
Jerry Wiley, man.
He make it worse. And because he basically confirms what it is that you think. Oh, Tyler Smith was rated as our 16th best, as our last,
bro, shut up.
as our 16th rated. I was like, okay, you capping. Now I know you capping because you said it. And now I'm like, you left Lloyd, Linderbaum, all these dudes that we know had to be rated at least 4 spots ahead of this dude, and you took them. I'm not mad at the player. Man, these kids been working all their lives to get to this point, man, and I'm never going to be mad at the player. But the organization, bro, is what I found out, and I had to be reminded of, is that when the Cowboys tell you they draft for best available player, that's not the truth.
That was bullshit.
When I look at the Baltimore Ravens board, I really believe they just looked at their stack and went straight down the list and said, okay, well, he's the next guy up.
My dude, they took 2 tight ends because they probably were the best players left on their board. They didn't give a damn what y'all thought. Give me Charlie Kohler, give me Isaiah Likely, and we're going to make it happen.
And they still got Matthews.
Or Andrews, yeah, Andrews.
Andrews. That tells me that they took the best. I was sitting there like, and then they took him right in front of Dallas. That shit had me cracking.
I feel like
up,
every year Baltimore's draft is what Cowboys fans, pick in mock drafts all the time. These dudes got Travis Jones, one of them.
In the third.
They got Kyle Hamilton. I love Kyle Hamilton. I know that. Linderbaum, Charlie Kohler, Isaiah Likely, and even Daniel Falele. Like, I'm interested. I'm not saying I wanted him, but I'm interested to see what they do with him. But you're right. It feels like they just sit back and say, all right, who's next? Oh, he at the top? Turn in the card.
That's how you're supposed to do it. And that's even if, let's just say, even if 3 of the top 4 picks that they took busted out of the league. As a fan of just what I believe the draft is, I would have no issue because I feel like they did what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
just go off your stats.
Just
go off your stats.
But that's because they participate in free agency. I don't know how many players they signed this year, but I know over the years they actually go out and they sign people so they can do that in the draft, right?
Yeah, but you know what, man? But it's like you do all this work to put your draft board together to jump tags. Like, my favorite pick was kind of like everybody else. It's Damone Clark and John Ridgeway. Like, Damone Clark, bro, like he didn't have that surgery until after the combine. So it's like, if he was healthy during the draft, this kid was going at the very least middle of the 3rd round.
Oh, yeah, he's day 2 pick.
He's a better player
100%.
than Jabril Cox was coming out this year.
That's fair.
Last year, I mean. And I was sitting there like, what I wanted to see this team do, man, was get more stout in the middle defensively. And I feel like with John Ridgeway and Damone Clark, I feel like, and I'm just assuming this kid is going to be healthy, I think they did that.
Well, not this year. He's not going to be. He's probably not going to play any time this year. At the very least, if he does, it's going to be like December.
He's probably not. But just in general,
for the future.
I look at that. Yeah, I look at that, and I'm like, you know what, man? I want to see these boys get more stout down the middle because you play safety, I play D tackle, so we both understand what being strong down the middle is, and that's safety, linebacker, defensive tackle, guard to guard, quarterback. You got to be strong down the middle if you want to be a successful football team.
Indeed, brother.
You know what I'm saying? And but the Jalen Tolbert, to me, that was a best available pick. At least it appears that way. I don't know if I'm giving him too much credit.
I agree. I think a lot of people, if you go back and look, you'll see Jalen Tolbert was the number 1 wide receiver left on the board. Now, you could argue if he was the best overall player, but see, with the Cowboys, it's always BPA per need. Wide receiver was obviously still a need. And then in 3rd round, you're not really jeopardizing anything. So I think that was BPA.
Right. And the last thing is, when it came to the 4th round pick, some people are a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it. And I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah, I haven't even detailed Ferguson. Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't like the pick because I was sitting there looking at the top of the board, and I'm like, Perion Winfrey hasn't been drafted. And I'm sitting there like, we got all these 5th round picks, and we're not going to be aggressive enough to go up. I would have been okay without Deron Bland.
Same here.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I could have traded a 6 to swap somebody, or if even the tackle, I would have been okay with losing the tackle to go up and get Perion Winfrey.
Well, you got 4 5th-round picks, man. You could have traded a couple of them to go up to get a dude if you wanted to.
You only need to give up one. You only need to give up one to go from 29 to, I think he went 107 to the Browns.
Now you say Winfrey. I don't know if I would have did Winfrey per se. You're pretty much
what?
You're pretty much loaded at 3-tech right now in regards to the depth chart. I mean, he's going to come in here and be.
Who is on the roster that you just feel that's consistent
Osa
enough?
and Neville Gallimore are not giving up their jobs to Perion Winfrey year 1. So unless you're moving those guys around to 1-tech, sure. And then Carlos Watkins.
Okay, I'll tell you this.
And then Carlos Watkins.
Opinion, this is my opinion. I think Perion Winfrey will be a better 3 technique than Osa.
Oh, I don't agree. Yeah, we disagree on that one.
You don't agree?
Nope.
Man, you crazy. That's just my opinion.
Mm-mm.
But
I think year 2. But if you've been listening to the show, you know I said year 2. I think that Osa Digizua is going to be that year 2 jump that you look for in all your draft picks, because year 1 he flashed a lot. He just hit a rookie wall like rookie walls do, or rookies do.
He did. He did flash. You know what I'm saying? But the value there, Perion, he was supposed to be, a lot of people was talking about him being a 2nd round pick. And you know what I want to know, man? I want to know what you think about this, man, and I'll even get off the call and listen while you address it. What did we miss with offensive line? I saw a lot of funny stuff happening. Like, Tyler Smith went 1st round. Cole Strange went 1st round. Jamari Salyer and the kid from Kentucky did not go into the 5th round, bro. Did we miss something with this offensive lineman? Because I'm going to keep it a buck. If I'm going to be critical, I'm going to still be critical of myself. I thought Jamari Salyer and the kid from Kentucky, Kennard, was 2nd, 3rd round picks at the latest, bro. They didn't go into the 5th round. So what did we miss?
I heard this a lot during the draft, man. And I hate to use the term media scouts. I'm not no damn media scout. I ain't no scout, period. But the media scouts, the boards were way different than the actual scouts in the NFL and actual teams. Hence, Cole Strange going in the 1st round. Jamari Salyer not getting drafted forever. Kennard not getting drafted for forever. Like, a lot of those linemen definitely fell. A lot of players in general fell. And it happens. Even the quarterbacks. Like, I didn't think there was a 1st round quarterback, but damn it, I didn't think they'd have one picked until round 3. Like, that just goes to show you that, what we see and how the league feels can differ a lot.
I was proud of them teams for not reaching on those quarterbacks, man, and that's just being a football fan. Those kids wasn't 1st round picks, bro. Just being honest, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? You want to see these kids, you know what I'm saying, get to the league, but they weren't 1st round quarterbacks. And it was actually good to see the league say, you know what, we need a quarterback, but we're not going to push this kid up 2 rounds just because we need one.
Wasn't none of them. Yeah, they weren't that. They're not that good. That draft crop is rough, man.
Bad. But all right, G, man, I'm gonna let you go. I just wanted to drop in my 2 cents, man, and you know what I'm saying. Hopefully, it all pulled together. But like I said, my favorite picks were the middle rounds, man, and that's what I got to say about that. And if you can hit on your middle round picks, you usually have a good draft. So we'll see in 3 years.
Interesting. All right, appreciate you. Because the mid-round picks are technically Ferguson. Oh, no, I'm just talking. I'm responding to what you're saying, B. The mid-round picks are technically Ferguson and the 5th rounders. And I root for the 5th rounders, but damn it, they ain't hit. I mean, they just haven't been hitting in the last 10 5th round picks. The only one you really could say had a little something to him was Joseph Randle. That's it. Now we'll see with the cat from Stanford, Semi. We'll see what's up with Semi, right? Maybe he hits. T-Mac said something earlier I wrote down. I meant to get to. Apologies, T-Mac. He said, well, last year they kept Bohanna and Hamilton on the roster, and that made me think about something that I said to Connor. you never can predict injuries, because last year going into the season, they had technically, if you tally them all up, 7 different rushers, but they never had those 7 different rushers all at one time for consecutive weeks, because D-Law got hurt. Randy Gregory had the COVID situation, then he got hurt. You had Bradley and Nye with his COVID. I think he got cut and things like that. So you can't predict those things. So there, very well, by the time you get to the season, you have injuries that are able to keep some of these guys on the roster. Big Bo and Hamilton were on the roster because guess what? You had injuries to D-Law. You had injuries to Randy Gregory. They didn't have other. You cut Kamara, so you had to bring up other players to fill that defensive line room. What if we get injuries? And, going into the season, they could keep Big Bo. They could keep Ridgeway. What if Carlos Watkins doesn't pan out? They could cut him. But I think as we stand right here, May 2nd, 2022 at 9:40 Central, it's going to be tough to see 2 nose tackles making the team right now. Hell, it might be tough to see 7 edge rushers make the team right now. 7 or 8 cornerbacks. Like, there's a numbers game that's going to have to be played, and it's going to be a competition in camp and in preseason. All right, we're going to get through these. Forget the time. We usually try to end at 10. We're not. We're just going to keep mowing through these phone calls. We got a ton on here. Let's get to OG Marv in the building. Marv, the draft is over. How you feeling, good sir? I think I know how you're feeling, but how you feeling?
I'm feeling marvelous. Loving it.
Marvelous. Hey, Marvelous Marv. That's what I'm going to call you.
That's right. Hey, steel cut steel. Just like your boy Law say. The Cowboys, they went for them construction workers. No, they going to work hard. So a lot of
attitude,
some of y'all players,
a lot of attitude.
they finna get cut. They about to get cut. Them boys faster, stronger, and you got to remember, like I said, that draft, this is the first time they did a Jimmy Johnson draft. About time. Now, a lot of people finna get cut. Your boy might not make it.
Oh,
I like him too. That's one of my favorite boys. But shit, he might not make it. 85.
Who, Noah Brown?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I don't really care if he makes it or not. No offense to Noah Brown, but he doesn't move the needle.
Yeah, because that receiver from he played like Debo when he catch the ball.
Who you talking about?
The one y'all talking. The receiver, Drummond receiver from Ole Miss.
Okay, Drummond, yeah.
And he got hands. He don't be missing nothing. And it look like he's slow, but he's not slow. Because that football speed is different. You know, you just can't get off. Sometimes you can't get to jump. Because I ran track. And, like, look, one day, because I was a 100-meter man, and I ran a 10.5 one day. Then the next day I ran 10.2. But when I'm in that field, on that football field, you ain't catch me. And that's what in that film, he'll catch the ball, and he was running past people.
Well, who's your favorite? Who's your favorite actual draft pick?
I got 3, but
they give me a favorite.
The linebacker, once they're gonna rest them. Both of them linebackers, I like both of them linebackers, and Ridgeway.
Okay.
And that corner's fast. That's that 4-4. The corner from Fresno State, he's gonna make the team. Somebody getting cut, bro. You might get your wish because one of our veteran corners, they might get cut. Between 30, yeah.
I think you gotta hold on. Like AB and J. Lou, because you don't know what the hell is going on with Kelvin Joseph. I think you have to keep
I'm just saying it's nothing else than Kevin Joseph says a miracle. He didn't get suspended or nothing. He do like the bottom up. Like what's the Ray Lewis? He might be a Ray Lewis.
Okay.
It might. You got to be fair. Like Ray Lewis, it's like Ray Lewis. But them dudes play good. Oh, the guy they jumped at all them safeties Marquise Bell too.
So you just like all the undrafted dudes. You don't even like the draft.
I love it. Hey, the draft. I'm not worried about Smith because he's gonna be playing. He's gonna be playing. You know me. I keep it real. He's gonna be starting guard.
Oh, whoa, Marv. What happened to Conor McGregory? I thought Conor McGregory was that dude, and we the one that got him benched.
No, but they putting him at, they keeping him at right guard.
Oh, okay. So he's not good enough no more to be a left guard, but last week he was.
No, he can play, but they're not gonna play him. The coach, like I said, it's up to the offensive line coach,
Joe Phil.
He's gonna have to coach. Yeah, he better come on. He better stop playing. And the center, like I told me and you, like you said, was it Fernick?
Yeah, Fournier.
Yeah, he's like Fernick, like 318, and they scared. And that big dude, McCrone, them guards, they've been in that weight room house a year. They said they had to kick him out the room, man.
Oh yeah, Fournier. Yeah, they said he in there getting the free food. They love to see him in there. I love to see it. You know, I'm all for the competition between Fournier and Biotish.
Biotish better come. Yeah, it's gonna be competition, and still, you know what's gonna happen.
In closing, brother. In closing,
everybody be talking smack about our draft, and then when the time of cuts come, all them teams pick about cut players. Why is that still? I thought they were sorry. But when they get cut, you saw it. Still, everybody from the Cowboys, they get cut, go on another team. Unbelievable.
Yeah. They get another shot, man. You're right. Marvelous Marv. I appreciate you calling that as always, man.
Yes, sir, family. Have a good day.
You too, man.
Tell the fans, don't worry. And I'm going to say, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. I'm saying it now.
All right, brother. Hey, I ain't mad at the energy. Marvelous Marv. They said my boy Conor McGregory was gonna be a beast. Now he's gonna be on the bench. All right. From beast to bench. Okay, all right. Somebody said we still taking calls. Nah, man, the phone lines are still packed. So we're gonna finish these calls out. We got about 6 left. I know y'all probably like, man, if y'all want me to end the show, I end it, but I want to get everybody's voice. I want to hear y'all reactions to this thing and have a good time doing this, man. So what I do, man, I ain't do nothing, dog. Forniak is 318. Forniak is big. I don't even know if I'm saying his name wrong. Our guy Marv be messing up names. I'll be screwing up names too. I think he goes 6'5", maybe 6'6". About 315 plus. So he's way bigger than a Linderbaum and a Lindstrom, which is very fascinating. They go with, a Forniak who's about 6'5 plus, 310 plus, and then you got Lindstrom who's 6'3, sub 300. It's gonna be very fascinating when I go to the camp and see this battle and how it works out because I think they're all going to get a shot to take first team reps with Dak and who Dak likes the best and who can call stuff out. Because one thing that I didn't notice, and maybe Big Duke, I can get him on here, he can let me know. The cerebral game at center, I haven't seen it quite yet from Biotish. I'm no O-line guru, but I do watch the tape. I don't just know that I've seen that. I could be looking at it wrong. I don't mean I watch it, but that don't mean I know what I'm looking at when it comes to the position. But when I hear about Lindstrom, I do hear that cerebral aspect to his game. So, all right, who I say is next, man? Let's go, James from Cali. He had a good call last week. What's up, James from Cali?
Hey, what's going on, man? I just wanted to give you my take. I think a lot of people, with the first pick, and I think I already said this, but I'm going to say it again. Okay. So I think Vach even said it, and that is, I think it's not the player that everybody hates. It was just a pick right there because there were so many other players available at positions of need that were better. And there was rumors, I think the Titans behind us said they were going to take him, and I think that was part of it, as well as I agree with you in that whoever else said it, that this was already a pick that was already picked like weeks ago, if not months ago,
Yeah.
But I'm not mad about it if he plays guard. I don't, because I used to play in high school before I tore my knees up. I used to play offensive right guard, and I know what it takes to, to be decent. He's definitely got the guard traits down. I don't think he'll have to wait as long. I don't think he'll have to wait as long to come around, but a tackle, I don't see it. I just don't.
Nah.
Guard, for sure. Tackle, no. That's just my opinion on that. And as far as the guys that we drafted real quick that I liked, I like Ridgeway. I see Ridgeway making the team. I like what he brings to the table. I think he brings a freakish style of play at a one tech I don't think we have had in quite some time. This is from a Cowboy fan who's been a fan for like 40 years. I like what he brings to the table. And then I do like that LSU linebacker. I think when he does get to play, oh boy, did we get a steal.
Yes, we did.
And then and then the undrafted, really quick, I'm going to name 3 guys that I like, and then you tell me what you think.
Well, I don't know if I've seen them yet, but I'm going to write them down in case I didn't so I can go back.
Okay, well, I know one of them you like because everybody seems to be raving about him, and I like him because I watched him. Marquise Bell is making the team. I'm sorry. That's probably, to me, by far the best undrafted player I can remember us taking, and me and my friend were scratching our heads. We were surprised he was never drafted. He was definitely draftable material, but it didn't make it. I like him. He makes the team. Now, I do think that the kicker that we chose, that dude is going to make it because you know how hard it is to be that accurate and then plus make a 62-yard field goal in college.
For the winner
I think
in
that's
college. These dudes be missing 15-yard field goals.
Right, and like Brett Maher, man. Oh my God, no, but I think this guy will definitely make the team. And then the other guy I like, I don't know if you've seen him yet, but I think on our starting safeties right now, Curse, Hooker, and Donovan Wilson. Right. I think.
Yep.
Okay, now what do you think? Because we think Bell for sure is going to make the team. So if you had to choose between that one guy that you're not real big on, what is his name? That guy from Fresno State, Blaine.
Oh,
now, if it came down to keeping Blaine, and I like this guy, the guy from Georgia Tech, the safety, Yanye Thomas. I don't know if you've seen him yet.
Nope, that's one of the guys I have not seen yet.
You need to see him because this dude definitely flashes. He did to me, so I don't know, but I probably would take him before Blaine. I think Yanye is a really good safety.
Is he a free?
He hits hard, but here's the one. What's that?
Is he a free or is he a strong safety?
I say he can cover, but he can also hit. That's what I was finna to say. So I think that's the strong safety that usually hits.
I mean, yeah, but
I'm not sure.
What I'm asking, can he play on the roof? Can he play as cover one? Can he play back there by himself?
That's what my next comment was going to be. From what I seen, the tape that I saw, the one I clicked on and viewed, if you need a safety where you're like in a coverage where he's going to have to cover, I think he's capable of covering, but he can also cover the run real good. But I also believe he can cover too.
Sound like a box
so
guy.
I think he's probably going to be one of those we may keep for that, or he could maybe make special teams. I don't know, but I like him. I think he's really good. But overall,
I'll check him out. I mean, I'm gonna check him out.
But overall, I'll just say this. Overall, guys, I just think that it's just one of those things where it's definitely kind of hit and miss. I think we did get a couple of steals in the regular draft, and I think we definitely got some in free agency, but. Not free agency, but undrafted. But I'll tell you what, though, man, that one guy that safety out of Florida, Marquise Bell. Let me tell you, that is probably definitely a steal beyond recognition because that guy is so good. I am just surprised he didn't get drafted.
I think he's.
So what do you think about that?
He's going to flash in preseason. Like I said, he may take a bad angle. He may make the wrong read, but he gonna hit somebody a lot in camp and in preseason.
Exactly.
And they're probably going to choose to keep him on.
So do you think, though, that we're probably going to end up cutting either Hooker or Donovan to keep one of these guys?
No. I'm gonna get to that because you got me thinking that while you're on the phone. I don't think you should do that, but I got an opinion on that one.
Well, yeah, like I said, before I get out of here, man, I always respect you and vouch your thoughts, man, because you guys know more football than I do. That's why I asked the question.
Hey man, listen, I humbly appreciate that, but I'm not a savant. I like the history of the game, and I think I know a lot about it. But I'm like y'all, man. We all family.
Hey, but you know what? We are. But hey, man, when somebody gives you props because you put in the work, I don't. Bots puts in the work, I don't. Hey, man, you got to take credit where it's given.
Salute, brother. I appreciate you.
All right, my man. Take care.
Yeah, that was when he was talking about the safety, Yanye Tom. That's why I asked him, can he cover? Is he a roof guy? Is he a free? Because if you add him on the roster now, you're talking about a lot of box dudes. So I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, if we really look at Curse, right, as more this year of a linebacker hybrid safety as opposed to a safety hybrid linebacker, which I think Curse can cover. I like Curse in coverage. Then maybe you can bring on another strong, but that's a lot of box guys. So what I was thinking about was, well, what if Dallas goes out and they get another veteran free safety? Because right now you got Israel Mukuamu. I don't really know that he's going to move the needle for you, depth wise. Again, year 2, maybe he takes that step. We'll see. Shout out to Israel. He came on the show on prime time with Mauricio. And that's all you have after Izzy. You got Hooker, but Hooker's the only reliable free safety. So what if they say, well, we want to move Curse down way more, even more than we did last year, which means Dono will get more reps back there. And then you could put Marquise Bell on the team. I think he's going to make the squad. But now, that's your 4 safeties, but it's really like 3 and a possible. If they view, and they talked about viewing Curse more as a linebacker, regardless of what they do, whether they want to bring Curse down not full time, but majority of the time as a backer or not, I do think you need to add another roof guy on this team because you only got one. And if he gets hurt, and he's a hurt guy, let me ask y'all, who's playing that? Who's playing it? Malik got range, man. Like, KZ was your free safety last year, but he was more of a safe pick. He wasn't that 10 interception dude or 7 interception dude, whatever he had in Atlanta. Hooker got range. He could fly sideline to sideline. I think Hooker could have a multiple interception season next year. But if he gets hurt, who are we putting back there? Man, that's a serious question. I'm asking this chat because I don't know. So I think they should go out and get a free safety. Obviously, the big one is Honey Badger, but that's not going to happen. I'm more so looking at a veteran depth guy. Twan said Bell's coming for Wilson's job. They both kamikazes. They're going to hurt each other in that damn, and not literally each other, but the competition is going to be fierce, I think, at the safety position between Bell and Donovan Wilson. All right, let's get to Nacho. And we got 2 calls that I'm not sure, 704 and 518. Nacho, what's up, man? How you feel about the draft, brother?
My man. Good morning, and great show.
Thank you, sir.
Great callers. It's good stuff. Hey, listen, you remember last time I spoke to you on Friday? We were talking about the Tyler Smith and everything, and after doing some homework and kind of just researching everything, hey, listen, I'm excited. I thought we got stronger on the trenches, both the offensive line, defensive line, and we got some gems. I think we've talked about D. Williams. Obviously Sam Williams. We knew that was a popular pick. That was going to happen in the 2nd, 3rd round.
Yep.
Obviously they took him to the 2nd. They didn't want to take any chances. That was their man, and hey, I'm good with it. I thought we covered our bases in terms of what we've been talking about. O-line, defensive tackle, interior, outside, linebacker, etc. They covered all. I thought it was one of the better drafts in day 2 and 3 that we've had in quite some time. We literally did some homework, and it looks like the scouts were able to put their blueprint I thought, on rounds, especially on the 5th round. I thought the scouts came in. I would probably think that picks 1 through 4 were more tailored towards
need
and a combination of allowing the coaches to kind of say, hey, who do you like type of thing, and they did that. But day 3 for sure, I thought it was a scouts draft. I'm extremely excited. Obviously, without going through all the names, I think maybe Tyler Smith might end up being a sleeping giant. I think this guy. I think slowly and gradually people are coming up with, hey, listen, this guy might be something unique. He is a young player. He's going to develop. He's a strong player, and I think the mentality, the getting those players that come in with just physicality, and I think that's the theme that you're hearing now. The getting those grinders, those mentally tougher
the
players.
Attitude, brother.
Absolutely, and so I like that. For me in the 5th round, I was jumping up and down. I was like, man, we have 4 picks. We're not doing anything. We're not being aggressive. But I was thinking, give me one guy in the 5th, and I wanted one particular individual player in the 5th. And they waited, really. They waited for the last one, which I was shocked. But the John Ridgeway pick, to me, for in the 5th round, was what made my draft. I believe that this guy, we have not had that one-tech kind of true nose tackle type of player, run stuffing. Because if we look at what happens to our interior of our defense in the last couple seasons, they run through that gut. That is our weak area.
Yeah.
With Osa and those guys coming back in, now you plug in Ridgeway as another rotational player in there. Oh, I think that's gonna go a long ways towards what we do. Obviously and then two players undrafted that I believe were surprisingly not drafted is the safety. Yes, the caller called it right on the dot. The
Marquise Bell. Yep.
Marquise Bell, and let's not forget, you talked about it, and this is another one. The Lindstrom center from Boston College. Surprisingly, he did not get drafted. He has the bloodlines, the family. He's got a lot of football bloodlines. This is great because I think this now gives us depth. It gives us rotation of O-line, defensive line front, and all that. And hey, listen, this draft is not a flashy draft. It's not maybe the big name players that these other teams went ahead and drafted. We can say and debate or argue that the Giants, the Eagles in our division got a lot better than we did, and maybe on paper they probably drafted bigger name players. But at the end of the day, how we drafted, what we drafted, depth, covering our bases, I think we're going to be just fine. And I think fan base has to be optimistic, and we're going to hit on a lot of these guys. And
that's an optimistic way to view it, yeah.
Absolutely. So, Nacho out. I'll be out. As you told me, I got to work on my little out. So, hey, it's gonna short and sweet, to the point. Sky, and hey, listen. I'm excited. I think one of the callers. Lastly, I'll say this, and I'm out. One of the callers did call it, which was kind of intriguing to me. He called it a Jimmy Johnson type of draft, and I thought, ooh, okay. That's kind of intriguing, and maybe to his point, he might not be too far from the truth because I think we really covered a lot, and I think we got a little bit of everything. We got a lot of different flavors, and I like it. So I'm out. Have a great, wonderful day, Scott.
There you go. All right, man. Appreciate you, Nacho.
All right, man. Bye-bye.
Jimmy, yeah, I did kind of gloss over that earlier, the Jimmy Johnson draft. Boy, hey, man, that's an optimistic, way to look at it. I can't call it that just yet. The Jimmy Johnson drafts did change everything about this team. But if you wanted to compare Jimmy Johnson to this class, it'd be the attitude part of it. That's about as far as I can go. This is why I say all the time, we need a win. We live so much in ancient history with this franchise. It's sad. It's sad. Like, we comparing a draft in 2022 to something 30 years ago. We need to win, man. I get it, especially for our older fans. That's really all they got to hang on to is 30 plus years ago. But to me, it's an indictment on where we stand. If there was a draft class that I would love to compare it to that's closer, and that even then, this is still almost 20 years ago. It'd be the 2005 class. I thought that class ushered in the Romo era, really. At least the beginning of the Romo era. The D. Ware, Spears class, Canty, Marion Barber, which on my attitude and talent, they had all of that, right? I want to say Jay Ratliff was part of that as well. And even then, we're talking about 2005. So we need to win. That's all I'm saying. There was a couple things noted in that call in the chat. I forget who it was. I think it was Reynolds. We were talking about backup free safety potential. Who could it be? He said Donovan Wilson could play both. I like that. I don't view Dono as purely a free guy, but he has the athletic ability on the field. I've seen him make those type of read and reacts in pass coverage, especially in 2020. So that could definitely be a guy that plays both. So that's a good point, Reynolds. And then Nacho was talking about Smith and D. Will, or Smith being that dude, potentially being that dude from this class. I would say don't sleep on D. Will, aka Sam Williams, either. Not right now. I don't think it'd be right now, but I think from an athletic standpoint, and the fact that he'll have DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons oppo of him, I think he could end up being one of those dudes too, if not the dude of this draft class. I just don't see it happening at this moment because of how they like to rotate, where he'll fit in the rotation. We don't know yet. But if he becomes the starter and he gets all the reps that Randy got come year 2 and 3, I think you could see him be a terror as a quarterback hunter, utilized the way he's going to be utilized in pro football, not in college, in pro. I just don't see it happening now. It's another upside futures pick. Hatcher, my bad. I said Canty, or maybe it was both. But yeah, that was just, I think 05 was a good draft class. Toxic, we know. Listen, Toxic hates this draft. Yeah, I totally get you, Toxic. Here I am, but I'll entertain you. When we had the era, what did we do with it? Lame duck coach and crap GM. Yep. Listen, Toxic, we gave, your time was before the draft. I gave you ample amount of I hate the front office energy. I gave it to you. I'm sorry, brother. I refuse to stay on that type of vibe for 7 months until the season. I would go crazy. I can't do it. We got new players, man. At the end of the day, you still a fan, right? Let's talk about these players. Let's talk about where they fit. Let's talk about camp and mini camp, all this stuff. Man, it's exciting, man. This is an exciting time, whether you didn't like the draft or not. I don't know how you can't be kind of like, man, this is awesome. I just can't wait to kind of see these dudes. You know what I mean? Listen, I get y'all frustration. And I said, I understand the frustration. And I've been saying it for weeks. It's going to come to a point where now, if you continuing down that line, you're just going to be miserable by yourself. I can't join that. I can't join that fight and party with you no more, because now we got a lot to dive into. We're going to start seeing mini camps and rookie camps and training camps. And, that stuff is exciting to me as a football fan. So, but the off season prior to the draft, hey, bro, that's your time to shine, brother. We don't do shit in that time. And that frustrates the hell out of me, So I had the mantra on this show, and then I went away from it. 1 week at a time, right? We're creeping back into that realm 1 week at a time, man. Just 1 week at a time, or you gonna be miserable and it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough. You know what you're gonna need? You gonna need to go to Worth the Poor. I'm just saying, bruh. You're gonna need to go Worth the Poor. Hey, look, if you're in the Dallas area this week, Worth the Poor, they're going to be at a Cinco de Mayo block party. I think is really cool. 4400 State Highway in Lewisville, Texas. And on that same day, I will be at Worth the Poor doing a morning show again to promote the event. So y'all make sure y'all come through, check out, man. They're going to have a DJ there, some food, bounce house for the kids. Come on through, man. And if you do come into the Worth the Poor store or you download the app, continue to use A to Z Sports on the code and, hey, get that 5% off. Or if you come to the actual event, you get a free drink. Toxic. I know you said you up there in PA, but you can get a free drink down here, man. You get a free drink. All right, we got a couple more callers. All right, let's get to 704. What's up, 704?
Hello, Sky. My name is April, and
Miss
I've
April
been
Showers?
Yes, April Showers.
Listen, Miss April Showers, let me tell you something real quick. I thank you for all your support over the years. I've seen you in the chat plenty of times, but I've never heard you on a call. Welcome. It's good to hear your voice. Go ahead.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. It was a great draft, I think, and I did watch you and, my man Foots, and I watched you a little bit with Mo. I watched everybody because I try to support, all of the YouTuber content creators. And, yes, it was a great draft. I'm very excited about Tyler Smith. I think he has great room to grow. I think the priority is protecting Dak, making sure that he's upright, and making sure that, Joe Philbin and Mike McCarthy build this O-line with their hands and their vision and and have that availability and consistency that they want. And doing that with someone that they can mold and groom, I think is the best route. It might not necessarily be the player that, we might have wanted or knew about, sure, but it's what they wanted or knew about. So, and that's the most important. And if he can do the job, get in there, and have a fresh start, then I'm happy and satisfied. D. Williams, since he wants to be called D and not Sam, try to keep that in my head.
I'm trying to.
Again, Dan Quinn, basically, blueprint. He wants to be in Dallas. He fell in love with it as soon as he got here. He's going to be great because he's going to play for Dan Quinn. So, and that's another, positive, in our favor. And basically, thirdly, you talked about attitude, and that is what, a change of culture, a culture change. And all of these players that has come and signed, they want that as well. It's not the players of old, which is about brand first. There's no, brand players. They're coming in, wanting, making T-shirts and caps, get into Dallas and see what, they could do as far as marketability. Yes, hot boys, exactly. They're not the brand boys. These are about it boys. If you want that action, they're about it. So, and I think that's going to be the culture change. So, that's all I have to say. Like I said, I'm happy with this draft. I'm ready. Like I said, I'm not really, visioning Super Bowl right now, but like I said, that 2-3 year, once Mike McCarthy phases out the old Jason Garrett era and bring in his people the way that he has to do it to maneuver around the Joneses, that, I think that's what he wants to do. And, that's what I support. So thank you for taking my call. I love your show. And I'm ready for training camp as well.
Thank you, Miss April. I appreciate that, man. Or one man. She said, these ain't the brand boys. These them bout it boys. Let me. I gotta shimmy a little bit with that one. I like that. Let's put that on the shirt. Bout it boys. We'll see. Yeah. You know what? No, don't put it on the shirt. Matter of fact, forget that we even said that, because if that gets into the locker room, somebody gonna put it on a chain, make it a hat, have a little clique in the locker room and not invite people. No. Let that be a fan thing. But I did like that. We ain't the brand boys. We the Bout It boys. Like, all right. Final call of the day. It's been a show. 518. What it is, what it do?
What's up, Sky? My name is Bond.
What's going on, Bond?
What's up? Yeah, I'm good. I think, like, hey, this draft we did really good because if anyone that I wanted to never see on the Cowboy team, it was Connor Williams, man. Connor Williams has been making us suffer like for hella long, and we went out there and get like somebody that can replace them. I know the foul problems is he has those foul problems, but the difference between Connor Williams' fouls and his fouls, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And go ahead.
No, I'm agreeing. I'm saying, yeah, there's a difference.
Yeah, there's difference. And then I think I'm gonna say some controversy stuff. You know, I think out of this draft we're gonna have 5 impact players. 5 of them, not 2, 5. I think.
Who are your 5 impact players? Give me them.
I think obviously Tyler Smith is gonna be a starter, right?
Yep.
I think Dan Williams, he's gonna surprise other people. He's gonna have attitude. He's gonna go out there, and he might even be a starter from the start. And then I got the tight end, because we don't have we should kind of short on the tight end because since Jarwin is gone, the tight end is gonna be a starter. And Big Country John, he's gonna be a starter too. Not a starter, but it might be an impact. Not a starter, but an impact. It's gonna be an impact. And then I think we can use what's his name from South Alabama. Yeah,
Jalen Tolbert.
Yeah, him. We can use him on what's his name spot. Cedric Wilson spot. We should go out there and get Travis Landry. And CD Lamb, since what's his name is gonna be out. What's his name? Michael Gallup is gonna be out from the injury, so we should get like Travis Landry and then put him like as a third. What's his name? Jalen Tolbert is gonna be like a third receiver, but when Michael Gallup come back, he's gonna be on the 4th spot, Cedric Wilson spot. You know what I'm saying? And that would be
and that's cool, right? Like if I can get 6 games out of Tolbert as wide receiver 2 or 3, and then when Gallup comes back, he's 3-4 for the rest of the year, unless he's balling. If he balls, then I say give him those Washington reps, unless Washington is absolutely insane. But you take that. He's a 3rd-round wide receiver.
Yeah, if he's balling, I mean, we can see. But I'm saying like out of what's his name, he got a friendly deal. So if anything, next year, after next year, we can trade Michael Gallup. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, you trying to get? I mean, I never thought of that.
I don't know, because I don't know if you got people like doing this thing, and he got better potential. I don't know. For me, it's more skill wise than what's his name, Michael Gallup. And Michael Gallup now, we can't trust him. It's 2 years in a row now. He's not like it's been an injury prone kind of.
That's what I was going to say, brother. Like if Michael Gallup gets has injury issues again this year, maybe you entertain it if Tolbert shows you some promise, but it's kind of early to think that. But that's interesting. I haven't heard that type of take yet.
And you know who else I want them to hit? What's his name? Josh Ball, because I want this whole line to be like new and youth and rejuvenized. Sure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if Tyron Smith is gonna be the same Tyron Smith we've been having for this couple of years, hey, if Josh Ball is out there, hey man, put Tyron Smith to rest, man. Like, hey, let's go with the youth, Tyron Steele, Josh Ball, and Tyler Smith. Hey, I don't know why everybody keeps talking about Biadasz he's a terrible player, but I think for me, in my opinion, last year was his second year, and he had a cover year previous that. And this is the year to see him, to judge him, really. This is the year that, if anything, we can judge him on this season, you know?
If I had to guess, well, let me speak for myself. I ain't even going to say guess. I'm going to speak for myself. With Biotish, for me, it's that I see room for improvement. Meaning, if I can upgrade the position, I'm all for upgrading the spot. If not, I think your offense can still get by with Biotish. It literally did get by. But that's just me speaking. There are some people that said this guy sucks and things like that, which if there was one thing he needs to work on, it's also penalties, right? He was the second leading penalty guy on our team behind Connor Williams. So between him and Connor, they had like 26 penalties, something like that. So, he's another guy that gets in trouble with the flags. But for me, it's just a room for improvement at the position, as opposed to thinking the dude is just an absolute can't do it in this league. I think he can do it. He can get by, but if I can get better, I'm all for that every time.
And those positions, like they was complaining about Tyler Smith getting drafted on the first round, or people are complaining about that. But I'm thinking like those positions are really hard to get players that's gonna impact. You know, I mean that's gonna do the thing. You can't just go there in a free market and get like a good guard. You know what I'm saying? A good center. So it's better. Much better as develop them. You know.
Yeah, I think you could have got a day 2 guard that could have came in and played. But again, my rationale thinking on Tyler Smith was that they look at him as a multiple position guy. Come in now, play guard, and play it well for you while developing to be your future left tackle. Everybody's not going to agree with that. And I'm not saying that's the right way to go. I'm just trying to see how they justify it. And I think they look at him as the future left tackle in about 2 years, but the guard right now. And let's be real. If he does develop into your left tackle of the future and he gives you really good reps at guard, absolutely he's a first rounder. But you're counting on that to happen.
Yeah. But hey, you never know. Everybody has potential. Like last year, Micah Parsons, we were saying the same thing. Now look at him. So we just gotta give him a chance.
You're right. Oh yeah, we gotta give all these dudes a chance, brother. But look, bro, appreciate the call, man. Really good call.
All right, thank you, man. Have a good one, buddy.
You too. That is one of the things I hear a lot. Give them a chance. Absolutely. You got to give all these guys a chance, but at the same time, fans are going to have an opinion on the draft one way or another. And that's what today was about, and it was a blast, man. It was R&R. That's what this week and some change is going to be about. Review, react, and rate these draft picks. I can't wait to start getting into our rating of the draft because that's a really fun project I did last year that I think you guys will enjoy. But today was more so about reacting to it. Tomorrow, maybe we'll do a little bit more reviewing of the draft. May have somebody on here. See my guy Foots is in the building. We need to link up. I can get you in here tomorrow and give your thoughts on the draft in general on the A to Z show. But yeah, we got a lot to discuss. A lot we can dive into detail with a lot of this. We're going to talk about the veterans. We're going to talk about who's been affected. There's still free agency left. Now the whole comp pick formula doesn't matter, so they can still attack free agency. Rookie minicamp, I believe, is this month. I actually got to go look at the schedule, but rookie minicamp is going to be very soon. Phase 2 is starting now with the Cowboys. I'm still trying to see if it's open to some form of media down there, but hey, you might see me sneak up down there at the Star. You know what I mean, with a microphone trying to get an interview or two. But I think there's a lot to look forward to from a football standpoint. Listen, Toxic.
I don't have the patience to jack with you today.
I had patience to jack with you, but now I'm just playing. There's a lot to be excited about as a football fan. But hey, guys, for those that are upset with the draft and continue to be upset about free agency and stuff, I feel you, man. That's cool. That's your prerogative. But we're going to talk about everything on this channel. Y'all know how we do. All right, real quick, we'll get into the chat. Ronald said, question, Sky, Big Cat or Sam? I mean, I've only seen highlights, in the very short highlights that they do Big Cat, but Is that really a question? I'm asking because you're talking about a second round pick who some might say was a reach, but reach relative to what? A third rounder? Because I don't think many had him below third rounder. And an undrafted guy. That is interesting. An undrafted rusher, 6'5", goes about, 240 plus, was productive. UCF, transfer, I believe. Or Sam Williams. I mean, I'm inclined to say Sam, but I haven't studied Big Cat just yet. There's a lot of players I got to go look at, but that's interesting. I don't like grades. It takes 3 years. Yeah, I don't do grades either, but they're fun. So I ask you guys the grades, and we'll take it in. I have a different method that we'll bring out here. Let's see, Stephen White. I got line first and second. Yeah, Cowboys did. You think Waletzko can be the future left tackle? I was sleeping on that after Saturday, and I was thinking about, man, I love kind of projecting a roster or putting it together, I'm like, this is the guy. Now, shout out to Foots. I posted on Twitter. I had Foots on here 2 months ago. 2 months ago. I said, hey, Foots, man, the Reese's Senior Bowl's coming up. There is not anybody else I want to talk to about these guys. You are plugged into. You love this. This is you. This is your season. Give me some names to look at and talk about for the show. Gave me boom, 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 boom. Matt Waletzko. I went and looked at all of them, and I saw this lanky ass 6'8", 7, whatever he is, 300-something plus pound dude from North Dakota. I said, huh? Let me go look at this dude. Check him out. I said, I gotta know what he sees in him, and he was the first player we talked about at the Senior Bowl. Not the big names, not the Travis Jones, not the Tolberts, who might not have been a big name at the time. Not the Perion Winfreys, the Pennings. It was Matt Waletzko. And everything he said then is what you hear, the staff and people say now. And the Cowboys took him because of Foots. I was like, well, this isn't surprising me. This is a potential, at the very least, swing tackle that has some upside to be a starter. I would love it, man. Like, can you imagine Waletzko developing into your left tackle, a solid left tackle, and you can keep Tyler Smith on the inside? So now you got that youth movement, because it's happening. It's coming. It's coming. Lyell's out the door. He was 29 going on 30. Steele was in. Tyron Smith is about to be out the door. He's getting up there in age, injuries. It's so funny that we talked about ripping the Band-Aid off, and I said maybe I overreacted. Maybe they don't got to rip the Band-Aid off. Maybe they put some duct tape on that Band-Aid, but what they need to do is to get somebody behind them. And Ball was a fourth-round guy we didn't see, but they would dip right back into the mid-rounds and got Waletzko. And that battle is going to be a battle I'm going to watch very intently, because that could be the future of your left side. God, what's up with the YouTube? Y'all got to do better, man. Like, I don't care if the YouTube Illuminati is watching me, right? Y'all got to do better with these bots. Jeez. All right. What a show. I knew this was going to be a fun one. We are not done reviewing this draft. Tomorrow, a little bit more reviewing and reacting. Foots did say he will call. I'm going to get with you, Foots, after the show here, man. We'll set something up. We'll get Foots' opinion on some things, look towards the future, and start getting into this rating the draft. Y'all be easy. Tonight, our guy Mauricio Rodriguez jumps back on. He's likely going to continue to recover this thing. Mo had a great show last night. Had, in my opinion, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say it was a record show for primetime. So let me give a clue bomb for primetime's record show last night. I appreciate y'all. Really do. Hit that button. Come on through. Be back tomorrow, 8:15-ish. Continuing to break down this draft and more. All right. Great show today. Good cause. Appreciate the donations. The chat was lit. Y'all be easy. Y'all be good. Hey, don't let the draft get to you too much, man. Don't let it get to you too much. Be all right. I love y'all. We out here. Peace.
I don't have the patience to jack with you today.